He was caught on video violently assaulting a nun in Jerusalem. He then proceeds to kick her as she's on the ground. We learned that his charges were dropped after he was found to be in a psychotic state.
I cried that day. It was something that is more dangerous to Christians.
We have a moral duty to hate Muslims. No, we have a moral duty to love people, period.
Seorang biarawati diserang terang-terangan di siang bolong. Videonya cukup bikin miris, tapi yang terjadi setelahnya mungkin justru lebih bikin geleng-geleng kepala. Tersangka dibebaskan setelah dinyatakan sedang berada dalam kondisi psikosis. Dan ini memunculkan pertanyaan yang jauh lebih besar. Masihkah kita percaya pada keadilan ketika korbannya adalah orang yang bahkan gak kita kenal? Ini yang dikatakan Anna Kasparian.
Back in April, the man that you're watching run up to that nun, his name is Yonah Schreiber. He was caught on video violently assaulting a nun in Jerusalem. It's a difficult video to watch because imagine running up behind a nun, pushing her to the ground, and as you saw in that video, he then proceeds to kick her as she's on the ground. Okay. So today, we learned that his charges were dropped after he was found to be in a psychotic state. So is that what they're going to use now? Are all the Israelis who are carrying out all of the butchering that we're seeing right now, they're all just in a psychotic state? I mean, I agree, they're definitely psychotic, but I don't think that should be used as a defense. Now, the court's decision came after a psychiatrist alleged that he was totally unaware of his actions and couldn't stop himself from attacking the nun.
Tapi sebenarnya, persoalannya nggak berhenti pada kekerasan atau keputusan pengadilan, karena ada masalah yang jauh lebih besar. Apa yang terjadi ketika rasa takut berubah menjadi kebencian, lalu kebencian itu mulai dijual seolah-olah sebagai bagian dari iman? Karena kalau sudah sampai sini, masalahnya bukan lagi tentang satu kejadian. Masalahnya adalah ketika manusia mulai diajari untuk melihat satu kelompok sebagai musuh hanya karena mereka berbeda. Dan lucunya, kadang orang bahkan gak sadar kalau mereka sedang diajari untuk membenci. Nah, disinilah Tucker Carlson memberikan peringatan yang cukup keras kepada orang-orang Kristen.
Right now, I see definitely in our political messaging something that is more dangerous to Christians because it doesn't directly target Christians. Instead, it inveigles them into complicity in attacking their innocent neighbors who are not Christian. And so it's still a betrayal of the heart of Christianity. It is a betrayal of love and of human solidarity. And it is a stumbling block to our neighbors to whom the gospel is meant to be good news, not a threat. So right now in our messaging, and unfortunately Catholic Vote has even been, some of the best of us are being drawn into this. You've seen the messaging about Muslims. We're living in a context where we as American taxpayers have been made complicit by our taxpayer dollars in decades of numerous unjust military actions, including against civilians throughout the Arab world. Most of the victims of which, yes, are Muslims. Many of whom are all obviously also Christians, and there's no downplaying the gravity of ISIS, the rise of radical Islam, and the persecution of minorities, Yazidi, Christians, etc., throughout the Middle East. But in the context of this, we helped get people elected who are involved in horrifically unjust. We just bombed a girls' school in Iran based on like 1.0 level GPS AI systems. No apologies. It's just sort of, and that's just the latest of a long train of examples of abuses, military brutality, to say nothing of our backing of Israeli policies that have hurt people. Trump went to the Knesset and gave a speech at one point, and he boasted of U.S. manufacturers providing the arms that Netanyahu used in Gaza And then he turned to Netanyahu, who was present, and said, "And you used them well." I cried that day. It twisted my guts because I helped get this man elected, and this is evil. But right now, the messaging of Muslims, El Sayed, you can oppose the guy's candidacy for numerous reasons, but he said inshallah, so that's actually code for I'm declaring war on Western civilization. I have a coworker, by the way, he's a Lebanese Christian, Lebanese American. She says inshallah. It's like saying how are you? I mean, it's so common in their language throughout the Arabic world. One person, by the way, who works for VPP is a Christian. He's an expat from Gaza. He said, I say inshallah like 20 times a day.
Do you know what it means literally? Do you know what the English translation from the Arabic means?
God willing, roughly.
Exactly. That's God willing. And as a Christian, there's kind of no sentiment I endorse more than that. That's not in conflict with my faith. It's an expression of my faith. So yeah.
And the other thing is that, the messaging on the right, we can't be complicit in it, man. As Christians.
Oh, I know.
It's funny too. I mean, there's a Christian community in Dearborn, Michigan, and it's all about how they're going to, slaughter everyone as soon as we're not looking. This is a group of they've partnered with local Christians to get, LGBT extremes out of schools.
Yeah, I know.
They're social conservatives. They're family oriented.
Oh, I know them. Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and they all worked to elect Trump, which is the irony. They all did. I don't know. The support that Trump got from Arabs in the United States, Arab American voters, was really, really strong, the majority. And by the way, I think, if I remember correctly, Jesus spent 2 full days in a Samaritan village, right? And I mean, the Samaritans were the enemies of the Jews, of course. They were going to hell. They were heretics, apostates, and Jesus lingered in their village and brought them over to him. So it's like the idea that we have a moral duty to hate Muslims. No, we have a moral duty to love people, period.
Yeah, especially people when they are most directly under threat.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate my friend having a crosshair put over her face because she has a Middle Eastern last name and because she says inshallah. And that's wrong. It is wrong. Christians I'm sorry. I mean, Christ demands that we not do that.
Right. You're right.
Pada akhirnya, mungkin pertanyaannya bukan lagi siapa yang harus kita takuti, tapi apakah iman kita masih menyisakan ruang untuk kasih? Karena agama seharusnya nggak membuat kita sibuk membenci tetangga sendiri. Kalau sampai untuk merasa paling benar kita harus menganggap orang lain sebagai musuh, ya mungkin yang perlu diperiksa bukan agamanya, tapi hati kita. Dan menariknya, justru dalam percakapan ini, seorang Kristen mengingatkan sesama orang Kristen pada sesuatu yang sebenarnya sederhana banget. Kewajiban moral kita adalah mengasihi sesama. Titik. Dan Al-Quran juga berbicara tentang hal yang sama. Allah berfirman, "Dan sesungguhnya kamu dapati orang-orang yang paling dekat persahabatannya dengan orang-orang yang beriman ialah orang-orang yang berkata, sesungguhnya kami ini orang Nasrani." Quran Surah Al-Maidah ayat 82. Mungkin ini yang sering kita lupa. Iman seharusnya nggak membuat hati kita semakin sempit. Justru sebaliknya, iman seharusnya membuat hati kita cukup luas untuk melihat kebaikan, bahkan pada orang yang berbeda dari kita.